check, mic check. Independence, okay.
Independence is...
Independence. Well,
Independence is, I'd say it's freedom.
Freedom of choice.
knowing that I'm a free person and we as a country are free people.
But not for everybody.
The ability to do what you want, when you want,
The freedom to think and act and do on your own.
without intruding on other people's freedoms.
Independence means you're not being controlled by someone or something at any given time.
And independence from tyranny.
And that makes a huge difference in how we live our lives.
Hello, I'm Mariah Speller, and today I'm joined by the hip-hop artist, the Bul Bey, to unpack the idea of independence, Juneteenth, and autonomy within Philadelphia. And so when we first met, we met briefly at the Black Music City Juneteenth celebration, and that was a great platform and resource for many, many people to kind of create that sense of autonomy and freedom. And so I was wondering, to you, what is independence, both as you exist just in society, but also as an artist?
Well, first, thank you for having me on your show. Appreciate it. Yeah, in that Black Music City event that happened, I think just last week, it was really incredible to celebrate the city. I'm always, I love Philadelphia. My name is the Bul Bey. There's a whole lot of Philadelphia-ism in there. And so I always look for opportunities to be a part of a celebratory effort for the city. So love that. And as far as my thoughts on independence, I think it's really important that we consistently ask questions and really reckon with the concept of it. We are in Philadelphia, the city where the Declaration of Independence was authored and written and things like that. But who was it written by? Who was it written for? So on and so forth. And I've learned personally, no one and nothing is self-sufficient. Trying to create and live in a vacuum is impossible. Where human beings were connected, just on a biological, scientific level that I am not an authority to explain. But that is just a part of our human makeup.
Right.
And so being disconnected is really just not a natural thing. And so independence is, I think, an exploration of how can you remain connected to the overall group, but develop an identity. You mentioned autonomy, have self-agency and chart your own path, but not do it in a selfish way, not do it in a way that just excludes everybody, but has some input and has some thought of other people and consideration of other people, because that's going to happen anyway. I did not get to this exact chair in this exact moment by myself. So many people helped me. So many people supported me, encouraged me. One of the reasons why you even saw me at the Black Music History event is because I was hosting.
Right. And
hosting is not something I just woke up and said, hey, I want to do this. People saw it in me, people encouraged it, and people kind of fed that. And so now I'm here, and I'm really grateful for that community that I've had, and I still have. So independence is a tightrope, where you really want to kind of be who you are, what you need to be, what's healthy for you, and but also remain connected to in a healthy way, because regardless of if you intentionally try to remain connected, you are connected to your community and to the world around you. So it's kind of like a balancing act.
Yeah, and I thank you. I really agree with what you said about how community really plays a big role in independence, and for you to feel that you can stay true to your own identity as you kind of navigate through the world. And so going into the Black Music City event, you know, how important is it, or why is it important to kind of create a community where all of these talented artists in Philadelphia can kind of learn their independence and explore their independence, you know, unapologetically, to kind of nurture that craft and take it forward and share it with the spotlight. Yeah. And there were so many organizations involved who really were offering resources and support to these talented people. So again, how important is that? Why is that important?
That's an incredible question. Like a really good question. There's a lot to unpack there. Philadelphia is not, you know, New York, Los Angeles, Nashville. And these are cities that are known to have like strong worldwide media platforms. Yeah. I think that's a good thing. You know, I think Philadelphia still competes as a world stage. You know, we had the Pope come here, we had the NFL draft, so many big, large events happen here, and I think that's okay as well. But what I'm getting at mostly and mainly is we've only known entertainment and music to look a particular way. In Philadelphia, it looks entirely different. It doesn't look like, you know, having NBC or these big, I don't know, media conglomerates in the downtown area, in the downtown space. Like Universal Music and all these labels are not here in Philadelphia.
Right.
I think the reason that is good is we get to discover, kind of have our own declaration of what being an artist is and what being an artist looks like. And it's nothing wrong with some of the creative ways people are kind of stepping out into their own. And it's important that we support that. It's important that we support that, because in our support of these new ways of creating and being an artist will come so many different ways of people being recognized and seen, and space being held for their ideas and their lived experiences. We must get away from everything being homogenous and looking the same.
Yeah.
And so the music industry here in Philadelphia just looks vastly different. And sometimes people lament that. Even I lament it sometimes, but it's really, really important that it looks different and that it stands differently and stands out from these other markets. And we have to back that up. We must back that up, because the kind of art that you get in Philadelphia is not like the kind of art that you get anywhere else on planet Earth. Like literally on the planet Earth, there's no other place that creates the way Philadelphia creates, that sings, crafts, designs, collaborates, interacts, that just does the things that happen here in Philadelphia. And it's tied to a lot of geopolitical, social justice things. Like there's a lot here in Philadelphia, but that creativity is just unmatched. I think I was sharing with you earlier before we got on, Adele is doing some concert somewhere, and I saw it on my phone, and right next to her is the piano player that went to Kappa, that still frequents the city and comes back home and hang out at jam sessions and things like that. So the craftsmanship, the depth of knowledge and skill that is here is just outstanding and unmatched, and so we have to support that. It's incredibly important that we support it with our dollars, with our attention, with our clicks, our follows, our shares. And
yes.
All that metadata, vanity numbers stuff, like we have to back that up, because, you know, we create differently and we stand out differently. So it's just so important.
Definitely. I feel that same sentiment towards Philadelphia, and I think that, you know, that passion and that energy is, you can feel it in a room. When you surround yourself with the creatives that are here, you kind of question why people think that they have to leave Philadelphia to kind of make it or kind of pursue this passion or this path in media. But Philadelphia is a huge media center, and there's a lot of ways to kind of get your name out there right here. And you are someone who's doing that in a multitude of different ways, wearing many different hats, very multifaceted and passionate. So tell us about where we could kind of find your art and find your music.
Spotify is a good place to start. Just type in the Bul Bey. A lot of my music catalog is on there. You might be missing out on a couple of mixtape that if you go on Dat Piff or Deep Dive on Bandcamp, you might find. But most of my music is up there. You know, my most recent, I guess, well-received song, Apples, Oranges, Bananas, is on there. I also have a website. I'm on Instagram. I try to be as active as possible. I don't, you know, do the best, but I'm on social media, and yeah, you can find me on Spotify. Please follow me. I need all those little vanity numbers.
Yeah, and what can we look forward to, you know, next from you?
More collaboration, more hosting. I am currently the host of the So Curious podcast with the Franklin Institute.
Awesome.
We're in season 2, where we take a scientific lens and look at just like love, sex, technology, relationships, all these different things. Like, what does a brain look like in love? And so we deep dive into all those different conversations, and hopefully that will continue on into season 3, season 4, 5, 6, all that stuff. So I'm doing more hosting. I am at WHYY as the community conversations convener. So we really would like to have civil dialogue be a part of the Philadelphia cultural tapestry. So we have cheesesteaks, we have the Rocky Steps, we have the Liberty Bell. It'd be nice, and it's our goal that civic dialogue is a part of the culture. You know, neighbors and communities will actively and often and regularly have conversations around school funding, shootings, parking, because parking in South Philly is something else. So hopefully these conversations will kind of like become a part of the norm. And, you know, anchoring all of this stuff is my own creativity. I have a project that I will be releasing soon. I can't wait to share it with everyone here. It's called I Don't Have Time to Doubt Myself. It's a project with a friend of mine. All of the tracks and songs were produced by him, Patrick Feliciano. And he's an incredible friend. He's an incredible producer. We made this little incredible project, and I can't wait to share it. And we'll share it very, very soon.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to think of like other ways that I'm like creative and active in the city. But Rec Philly is an incredible group, and I was doing the hosting with them, and I'll continue on in those efforts. I'm everywhere.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing and having such a dynamic conversation. So now we're going to go back toward the Black Music City Juneteenth celebration, and we're going to see Kelsi Bolden.
The first song that we're going to be playing is We Shall Overcome. I hope that it inspires you to listen to gospel, go to church, praise the Lord, whatever you want to do. entitled We Shall Overcome, which is very, very significant for this time period celebrating Juneteenth, because we know that this is a time of perseverance for all Black Americans, and we did overcome.
Independence Day is where, like, should I give the history lesson of Independence Day?
Independence Day is the day that we celebrate the founding of this country, the United States.
Celebration of our country's birth.
This is when we when we were free from the English, right? Yeah, when we gained independence from the crown.
From the British people.
What I was taught in school is when they signed the Declaration of Independence, and we were more free. We had more liberty.
Got our own rights, and when we started our own constitution.
Our founding fathers decided that we were free from Britain, we being white landowning men.
Independence Day is a farce because the bottom line is it was made for those who were in control of this country at that time. Even now, we are not in control, us being all of us.
I think more than anything, it's become a holiday like other holidays that have become commercialized.
Hey there, happy people. How's everybody doing? You doing well? Hey guys, welcome to Philadelphia. Hopefully, I know everybody here is from Philly, right?
Yes.
Hey, from Philly? Is it? Huh? Nobody? Hey, nice. Okay. Not from Philly? Okay, so where's that? Australia. Wonderful. Wonderful. That is actually the furthest we've had people from Australia before, but we've also had people from as far as Australia, Germany, Kenya, and you'll come for the tour. So guys, welcome to Philadelphia. My name is Mijuel. That's my as in my, jewels and jewelry. Hey, how you doing? And I'll be your tour guide today. Today, I have a degree in history and political science from LaSalle University in Germantown, upper northwest Philadelphia. And an associate's degree with honors in liberal arts from the Community College of Philadelphia as well. Independence to me, when it comes to the U.S. Speaking from a historical perspective, is political separation from Great Britain. Independence to me personally also means freedom. It means freedom from interference. Everyone is a bit interdependent in any single way, from individuals to countries. Independence Day to me, it is, of course, as an African American, it is complicated. It is complicated. We all know the famous piece by Frederick Douglass about what does the 4th of July mean to African Americans. African Americans, particularly at the time, to enslaved and formerly enslaved African Americans. For me, Independence Day, also as a Philadelphian, it becomes even more complicated. Because, of course, while traditionally African Americans have, for the most part, not celebrated Independence Day, it has, as an African American growing up in Philadelphia, obviously that's very hard to do. So I was always raised celebrating Independence Day, and I personally don't see much of a difference as to why or why not. Because again, for me, this is about independence from Great Britain and the country being established as an independent country. My people, however, were of course not free at the time, but were of course still part of the country that declared its independence. And of course also fought for the country to declare its independence. and somewhere around 15,000 African Americans actually served in the War for Independence. 10,000 on the British side, 5,000 on the American side, but even those who fought on the British side were still fighting, you could argue, for the cause of liberty, for the cause of independence, but to the side that guaranteed it to them, because the British had promised the enslaved people that they'd be set free if they fought for them. That was not guaranteed on the American side at all. However, many African Americans would still fight for the cause of independence, believing, in the words of the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal. Also, many enslaved people would fight for the United States as well. And actually, much to his chagrin, it should be said, much to his chagrin, about 1/3 of George Washington's army by the end of the war was free people of color. Was people of color either enslaved, free blacks, or Native Americans. So I feel a sense of inclusion with Independence Day, even with all its flaws. Also, as a Philadelphian, I look at Independence Day as a celebration of my city's role in history, my city's principal role in history. The main thing for which Philadelphia is known for is being the birthplace of America, the mother city of the nation, birthplace of modern democracy, let's say, in civil and human rights. For me, it's a point of pride, because I can say something as a Philadelphian that no one else in the world can. I was born and raised in a city that is the birthplace of modern democracy and of the richest and wealthiest nation and most powerful nation in the history of the world. So that's something that for me is a point of pride, and it's more so, I would say for Philadelphians in general, Independence Day is almost like celebrating the city's birthday. They're almost more so than it is celebrating America's birthday, even though the city's actual birthday is October 27th. October 27th, 1682. So the t-shirts in there that say Philadelphia 1776 are inaccurate. Are inaccurate. Yes, that's what Independence Day means for me. It's a day of celebration for, yes, the country that I was born in, for the ideals that it has, even though its reality doesn't always match its ideals so far. And celebrating my city's principal role in history. Juneteenth to me means for the African American community, celebrating the day where the enslaved people in Texas found that they were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. The day that slavery officially ends in the U.S. is December the 6th. It's the day that the 13th Amendment is ratified. But Juneteenth does celebrate the ending of slavery. I've always wondered, I remember even in high school writing a short paper on asking the question, why is there not a holiday to celebrate the enslaved people of the United States? You're crying. And my teacher crying when she read it. But to have that day finally recognized in the United States shows that, in a way, that slavery is now being recognized in the United States more so than it has ever been before. I remember before that now the country is a day every year that it is forced to reckon with itself, that it has to remember that this was a country founded on the ideals, yes, of liberty and equality, but also on a reality of slavery, and inequality, and how we reckon with the legacy of that today with the continued limitations on freedom and equality that we still have in the country and in the city today. Our country, yes, was founded a place of liberty, but it was not always a place of liberty for everyone. In many cases still is not. Our city was founded, quote unquote, as a holy experiment, as a New Jerusalem founded on principles of liberty, particularly freedom of religion for everyone. It has not always lived up to that. We try, and it is the ever-present task of each successive generation to continue to try to make our professed ideals ever more real, ourselves and for our progeny. That is what Independence Day means to me. That is what Juneteenth means to me. That's what, to me, it means right now to be a Philadelphian and to be an American. And to try to make this country, this city, and our world a better place and make us more, in reality, what we say we are on paper. Okay. Thank you.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth is a very important day.
No one I know knows. It's something about...
Juneteenth is the date in which all the slaves were officially liberated.
Freed.
Made aware that they were free. I believe the freedom came 2 years prior.
And it wasn't until 2 years later that word had come to those in Galveston, Texas,
way after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
It was a little bit delayed, but that's like the last day that it was actually, you know, they became free people.
And as a result, it's now celebrated by a lot of African American Black families, rightly so, for that freedom.
But I have to say, in context of where I live and where I am and what I'm doing, we must not be too free because we cannot walk our streets without being killed. And as a result of the violence that's existing here in the city of brotherly love, I do not see freedom.
Are those my real questions? Do I have it right?
Is that good?
That's it? Okay, and there's the back of my jacket.